We're with Craig Button and Cheryl Pounder now. And guys, the website MoneyPuck shares teams' chances of making the playoffs. Right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs have a 6% chance of making it, which is lower than their chances of landing the #1 pick. So, Craig, it may sound crazy, but with how the Leafs have played, are they actually on McKenna watch?
Well, here's the thing with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Last season, the New York Islanders weren't on Schaefer watch, but they won the lottery sitting in the 10th spot all the way up to 1, and it was a no-brainer to take Matthew Schaefer. I feel the same thing about Gavin McKenna this year. Here's the key thing for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who I think are going to be really tough to make the playoffs. You better finish in the bottom 5, because if you don't finish in the bottom 5, that pick goes to the Boston Bruins. And that's going to be a really, really good pick for the Boston Bruins in the Fraser-Minten deal that Brandon Carlo came over to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it's not so much about being on the McKenna watch. You better be in the bottom 5 watch if you're out of the playoffs. Because if you finish 6th lowest, 7th lowest, 8th lowest, the Boston Bruins are going to be doing a happy dance. It would be just another example of the Boston Bruins taking advantage of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I'm right in line with you here, there, Mr. Button. And not often I can say that, right? Go green. But at the end of the day, you know, this is a team that's still only 4 points back out of 3rd in the Atlantic. It's a bottleneck because no one's really taken charge and gotten the stranglehold on it. And so to me, I'm sitting here going, like, they can push, but it is going to be a grind to make the playoffs. So where are they going to fall? Because it would really suck if they don't wind up making the playoffs and they don't have an opportunity to get in on the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes, right? So they've got a lot of work to do right now to shore it up and try and really push for a playoff spot. There's a lot of work to be done because this team is playing pretty poorly as of late.
Yeah, Cheryl, let's expand on what the Maple Leafs have to fix right now. If you can pick one thing that's most glaring to you that needs to be fixed, what would that be?
Their defensive structure in all 3 zones. And there's one contributing factor for me, Sarah, and that is team speed, right? If you don't have team speed when you're in transition coming back from the offensive zone, guess what? You don't backtrack. And when you don't backtrack, your D can't stand up. So now what? You're giving up play off of the rush. If you don't have team speed in zone, guess what? You're running around chasing play. You're not able to close. And we've seen that once opponents get in zone as well. So now you can't close. You can't get going north quickly. So I think this is a product of having team speed. I mean, you look at the underlying defensive metrics, and they're at the basement. They're at the bottom of almost every single one. But you also look at their power play. You know, they're sitting 25th. So they're really not taking over in any category or any area. And this is a real problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. Team speed is the contributing factor, in my opinion.
So team speed, that's about player personnel, and that's a certain area they got to improve. They're a slower team. You talk about defensive structure, well, that's coaching. The coaching has to get a better defensive structure given the current player personnel they have. Another area that they got to look at, and this comes under the player personnel part, they don't have puck movers on the blue line. A big reason they picked up Troy Stetcher was for his puck play. But he's a bottom of the group defender. They need better defenders on the blue line that can handle the puck, because they can't beat the forecheck, they can't beat pressure, they can't make a play, and that creates a lot of problems, not just for your defense, but also for your offense. So those are some different areas that the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to have to address, some in the coaching office, some in the manager's office.
Yeah, tough times in Leafs land right now. And just to recap what Craig had already reminded us is that the Leafs traded away their 1st-round pick, but it is top 5 protected. So any pick outside of that top 5, and it goes to the Bruins to complete that Brandon Carlo deal.